that Laken and I sat upstairs in our bedroom together, and I was probably 10 years old, she was maybe 12, and she started telling me actually how sick that she was. And I don't think I'd ever actually thought about it until that moment.
Laken was born with a respiratory disease, RRP, which is recurrent respiratory papilloma, in September of 1992. And by the time Laken was 9 months old, she was having her very first surgery. Over the course of Laken's 20 years, she had over 700 surgeries total, and it was just kind of a normal, everyday part of Laken's life.
She did everything that a normal person would do. Like, she played sports in high school. She was a cheerleader in high school, and growing up with two sisters, she was the one who always did things with me, like sports. Played basketball. I mean, we played volleyball. Played Nerf basketball in my room all the time. Like, she did things that I like to do.
Laken and I were like sisters. We did everything together. I mean, she taught me how to drive a car, she taught me how to do my hair and do my makeup and all the things that a big sister would teach you how to do. You know, every memory that I have in my life is with Laken. There's very few that I have before I was 18 years old that don't include her. She described to me, she was like, I'm sick and I'm probably not gonna live as long as you guys are. And when that day comes, I want you to be ready for it. I want you to be prepared. I don't want it to be something that is sad. And so she got out a piece of paper and she wrote down everything from flowers to the song to the colors, just everything that she wanted at her funeral, how she wanted it to be, who she wanted to speak, things like that. And it was really sad, and I remember trying not to think about it because I mean I was 10 years old, and I remember putting it in the back of my mind as much as I could, but I saved that piece of paper. I put it in my drawer upstairs in my bedroom, and I never told my mom about it. I didn't want to upset her or make her worry, but I saved it, and I always kept that paper. And I remember when it came down to planning the funeral and things like that, my mom and I were sitting in the kitchen talking about it, and it just hit me that I had that piece of paper, and I ran upstairs and grabbed it, and we did everything as she wished.
She never let it get to her though. I can't remember too many times when she was in the hospital where she ever cried or complained or something like that. She was just very resilient, and she was just, besides the fact that when she wasn't in the hospital, I mean, she was always happy. She was always smiling, always having a good time. She loved everybody. She had a good heart. She didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, that type of stuff as a kid.
Laken had gone to Nashville to the hospital for just she was there to have a feeding tube placed because she had lost a lot of weight and she was very thin, couldn't seem to gain any weight. So she went to have a feeding tube placed, and I kept calling from work that day to check on her, and my mom kept saying she's still in recovery, she's still in recovery. And when I got home from work, I got a phone call that we needed to get to Nashville as soon as we could, that there were some complications, and they had to put her trach back in.
Dad came in there and talked to her and told her what was going on, and just let her know that it wasn't good, and I think she was kind of surprised, but I think she knew that something had been wrong with her for a long time. So it was almost like she was kind of prepared for it in a way, but at the same time, you could still see the look on her face. Of course, they asked her, because she was an adult, if she wanted to be resuscitated, and she said no, because she knew she didn't want to be hooked up to machines, and we didn't want that either. So, I went in there and I was talking to Laken, and she said, "Will you please stay?" And I said, I'm not going anywhere. We sure were lucky to have her and to be around her for so long. even though it was a short time, short life. There's not a day that goes by we don't think about her. So.
I talked to the ICU doctor, and I remember asking him out in the hallway, what he thought. I said, because I have a daughter and she's in college and they're close. And
I'll remember if you want me to.
his exact words were, if it's important to you, tell her to come now.
He said, come now.
One of our biggest fears, or mine personally, was that people would forget her. And she was way too important for people to forget her. And we wanted to make sure that we did something or, made a difference somehow telling her story or helping other people in any way we could.
So we asked for people, instead of sending flowers, to donate money to this memorial fund, and we were going to give one scholarship at her high school that year. And so we had enough money to give one $1,000 scholarship at her high school, and so that's how it started. So we decided that we wanted to do that each year, and we were going to have to come up with a way to raise the money to give the scholarships. So we came up with Laps for Laken.
We're both recipients of the Laken Palmer Memorial Scholarship. We both attended the University of Mississippi, and I graduated in 2015, and Coker graduated in 2016.
I wasn't fortunate enough to know Laken as a person. I met the Marchbanks a little later after she passed away, but the turnout for that weekend, it's really great to see how many people really loved her and still show her support after these 6 years. It's just really something.
So when this Laps for Laken journey began in 2012, we wanted to be able to give scholarships to all the schools in Pemiscot County. And 2018, this was the first year that we were able to do that. So this year we gave out 13 scholarships, and we're very excited and proud that we had such a great turnout at the Laps for Laken last year. And we just invite everyone to come out again this year and support us. It's going to be September 8th on the square in Hayti. We're going to start a little different location this year. We're going to start at the First Baptist Church parking lot because there's some construction going on the square, but we still would love to see everybody and can't wait. We're so excited.
And lives in LA.
Well, looking at you like the doctor's on me. He said, I don't start hurting. What is our